Victor Mann and other trusts within North Tyneside.
Councillor Early.
Yeah, again, item 3. I'm a trustee of North Tyneside Carer Centre, which receives funding through the council. I have registered this as an interest on my register of interests, and I don't receive any money directly as a result of being a trustee, so I won't be leaving the meeting.
Thank you so much, Councillor Early. Anyone else? No? Well, thank you. The 2025 to 2029 financial planning and budget process. Cabinet's updated budget proposals. Councillor McMullen, are you taking us through this?
I am. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Following on from our initial budget proposals report to Cabinet in November, I am pleased to present to the Cabinet today an updated budget proposals for onwards consideration by Council next month. Before I go through the summary of this report, I would like to invite Councillor Montague to present the findings from the Budget Study Subgroup report that was agreed by Overview and Scrutiny, Coordination and Finance Committee on the 15th of January.
Councillor Montgomery, thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor McMullen, and thank you, elected Mayor. I would propose to speak very briefly this evening regarding the work of the Budget Study Group. As in previous years, we've been pleased to arrange cross-party membership of the Budget Study Group, and in doing so, we've met 4 times since the 25th of November. We've considered Cabinet's initial budget proposals in great detail. This detailed review is reflected in 16 recommendations, which are set out on pages 274 to 276 of the Cabinet agenda this evening. In summary, these recommendations cover the importance of programme management. Budget Study Group has made suggestions for monitoring delivery of the budget, including medium-term financial plan projects, the specific pressures facing children's services in the local government sector and in North Tyneside in particular, and how these might be monitored and addressed, potential alternative treatment of certain budget items, for example, around services which have previously been delivered externally, and a number of specific suggestions, including workforce redesign, management of reserves, and wholly owned company dividends, amongst others. As Chair of Overview and Scrutiny, Coordination and Finance Committee and Budget Study Group, I'd make the point that none of the budget choices for any local authority are easy. However, on behalf of Budget Study Group, I hope that our proposals will be helpful for Cabinet's consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Montgomery. All I'm going to say, I was making you a general there, to be quite honest. You never know how you proceeded this council. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. What I want to say to you as well, I would like you to send our thanks to you and your colleagues on the Budget Study Group for all the hard work that you did, because it is essential in these difficult times that we have someone looking at the budget study, come back to us and scrutinise it and actually keep us on the right tracks. So your work is much appreciated. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Okay, I also add my thanks to Councillor Montague and would like to thank the Budget Study Group on behalf of Overview, Scrutiny, Coordination and Financial Committee for their work as part of our wide-ranging budget engagement process. Cabinet agrees with some of the recommendations. Indeed, several of these recommendations had already been included in our updated proposals. Notably, this includes the proposal around the Poverty Intervention Fund and the potential investment in our additional children's homes. However, for others, Cabinet do not fully agree, as the current arrangements already cover the recommendations. For example, requests around further scrutiny of budget and performance can be incorporated into the existing work programme of the committee, notably the performance and finance report that comes to the committee every 2 months. After this meeting, we shall be writing to Councillor Montague as chair of the committee to respond to each of the 16 recommendations, so you can share this with the committee when he meets again on Wednesday. This year is the final year of the Our North Tyneside plan, which set out our priorities for the borough between 2021 and 2025. We are proud of what we've achieved since 2021. The borough is safer, cleaner and greener. Many areas have already seen regeneration and investment, with transformation evident in Whitley Bay, Wallsend and North Shields, and the beginnings in the Northwest. Our residents are supported when they need us most. The quality of education in schools remains high, and our children's services have now recently been judged as outstanding once again. We are one of only 5 local authorities in the country to be outstanding in all areas, despite being the second lowest spending authority locally on children's services. This is a testament to the dedication by all to achieve the best outcomes for our youngest residents. And we are building hundreds of new affordable homes and continue to invest in funding to repair our roads and paths. In November, we presented budget proposals for 25-26, which allows us to carry on with the ambition and momentum, making the most of the external funding to do so. But these proposal forecasts were an extra £33 million of pressure on our funds. This mainly through the unprecedented demand in our children's services, and is a challenge felt by all other children's services, both regionally and nationally. And as a result of this, and despite the significant savings already being taken, November's budget proposals include the £3.9 million shortfall for next year. However, I'm pleased to say that after funding adjustments and more efficiencies identified, we are now in a position to present a balanced budget for 25-26. The proposals have been updated to reflect a welcome increase in funding from the Provisional Local Government Settlement in December, particularly for social care, and they also reflect additional challenges posed by the autumn statement around the national insurance contributions, which have also affected our housing revenue account. These proposals identify additional savings and efficiencies to help address challenges in social care. This includes additional funds to help provide an extra children's home in the borough, helping to reduce our reliance on costly external providers to meet the needs of some of our children. And Cabinet will also know that despite Ofstet's recognition of outstanding leadership in children's services and our doubling of in-house provision, the pressure continues, and therefore children's home investment is a pragmatic move. An additional investment since November's proposals is for a funding for a feasibility study for the Household Waste Recycling Centre in the northwest of the borough. However, some difficult decisions have been made in order to reach a balanced budget. One of those is confirming that our council tax and adult social care precept will increase by 4.99%. This is something the government expects us to do. The £7 million this brings in is necessary to help us meet the increasing costs of services that we continue to provide. It is important to note that our additional local council tax support scheme will continue next year, cutting bills for thousands of low-income households. And as a financially responsible council, which strives to offer value for money, our approach to budgeting extends beyond the coming financial year. We're forecasting pressure of up to £85 million over the next 4 years, up to 2029, if we take no action. But we have a 4-year transformation programme to tackle this. Through efficiencies and savings, we've saved £10 million this year and are projecting to save another £31 million over the next 4 years. I will now hand over to Councillor Harrison, who will discuss the housing revenue account in further detail.
Thank you. As outlined in our draft proposals in November, our housing revenue account continues to face a number of challenges in common with the general fund. But we continue to follow our long-term plan, seeking to invest in our council homes and services for tenants in a responsible and sustainable way, and to create more much-needed affordable housing through our new build programme. In line with government's national rent policy, which proposes rents will increase by up to CPI plus 1%, the recommended rent increase for 25-26 is therefore 2.7. As a responsible landlord, we will provide additional support to those tenants who need it, and we will protect our most vulnerable tenants. 25-26 will see the final year of our tenancy sustainment fund measures, which has seen a total of £3 million set aside within the plan. However, we are delighted to be able to include the resources to mainstream some of the most successful elements in our long-term plan, including financial support to our tenants and tackling damp and mould effectively. The plan includes investment of over 22 million in our new build projects over the next 5 years, as well as investing 162 million to maintain our existing stock at a decent standard. It provides over 5 million to replace our existing vehicles over the next 3 years. We have also made provision for additional pressures such as the 25-26 pay award and increased employee national insurance contribution, referred to by Councillor Mumford. We continue to support our apprenticeships and working routes programmes, which give young people opportunities and a second chance with employment and training. We also welcome the proposed changes that the government is making to the Right to Buy scheme, which includes reducing the maximum level of applicable discounts, extending cost flow projections, and excluding new build properties. This should reduce the rate at which our existing stock falls in future. We're committed to supporting our carbon net zero action plan and are funding more green actions next year, with over 10,000 sustainable measures being funded over the next 5 years, all of which will contribute to reducing our carbon footprint. Mayor, we listen to our tenants and we are proud of the services we deliver to them. Our budget proposal demonstrates our ability to respond to challenges and to continue to deliver our long-term objectives in line with our North Tyneside plan. Hand you back to Councillor Mack.
We are proud to be a council that listens to our tenants, residents, businesses and stakeholders. We gave them opportunities to have their say throughout this year, including engagement with the Mayor, Cabinet and ward members, our residents panels and the big community conversation. We also carried out an extensive budget consultation process in both in person and online. In this, residents told us that they understood the challenges that we face as an authority. They were supportive of the approach that we were taking to identify savings, and they supported our willingness to continue to aid both our residents and businesses through times of change. This year, 40% of those who took part in our consultation supported the proposal to raise council tax by the maximum, in which I asked the Cabinet to approve this comprehensive package of proposals presented before them as set out in the report.
Thank you, Councillor Matt, much appreciated. Right, has anybody got any questions particularly about this item? No? Does anyone want to comment on this item? Councillor Early.
I think it's testament to the work of our officers, individual directorates, but also in the finance team as well, that we've managed to reach a proposal which will present a balanced budget while still maintaining our ability to meet the goals set out in our North Tyneside plan. I know in my particular portfolio area, it's the portfolio area with the biggest financial pressure, but notwithstanding that, we've been able to deliver children's services to a very high level, which has resulted in our outstanding rating by Ofsted in the last month or so. So as I say, it's a testament to the work of our officers and staff across the council that we're able to go on delivering frontline services to a very high level.
Councillor Early, is there anyone else? Councillor Hunton.
Thank you, Mayor. I concur with what Councillor Early's just said. There has been an awful lot of hard work going on across all departments, but in adult social care, we're one of the departments that does have an overspend, and we've been working incredibly hard. The office has been working incredibly hard to reduce that overspend, which they've done successfully, and they will continue to do that. And what they're looking at is doing things differently, which will reduce the costs, keep people out of care, which is very, very expensive, and keep them in their own homes, which is where most residents want to be. So I think it's a win-win situation. Residents are going to get what they want, which is to stay in their own homes longer, and it reduces the cost to the council. And I'd also like to thank officers for looking at investment for occupational health, which is currently based in the Tyneside trading estate, but it's going to move to the Killingworth hub, which will allow the work to be more joined up and therefore will benefit everybody by doing things more effectively and efficiently. So it's a good budget for adult social care.
Thank you so much, Councillor Hunter. Does anybody else want to make a comment? Yes, Councillor Graham.
When you listen to what a flavour of what everything that we do makes you very proud that we're delivering and continue to deliver for our residents and businesses in the borough, whilst delivering key priorities and our ambition for North Tyneside. We will never stop striving. We will always try and be up there with the best, which has been shown by our recent Ofsted. And the pressures with children and adult social care is massive. And we're always looking for ways to deal with that. But also with waste, we're asked to do more with less and continue to do that. And we'll be bringing in food waste collections for businesses coming in April, and then the following April, food waste for every resident at their homes. So things evolve and move, and we're asked to do more with less, and we will continue to meet that challenge. And thanks to all of our staff who work really, really hard and are innovative and try and find ways around problems. And thanks to the Overgreen Scrutiny for sending us these recommendations, which we will look at them very carefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Graham. I think Councillor Hannah Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just say that I think this budget shows the ambition that we as yourself and we as Cabinet have for North Tyneside. It's a really, really tough environment when it comes to the money that we're getting from central government, maybe not being as much as everybody would like it to be, but it certainly shows, first of all, we're obviously keeping things like leisure centres, our libraries are open, we are keeping them in-house, they are being run by the council still. We're not only maintaining our service in terms of waste, but we're building on it and looking into opening a new centre in the northwest of the borough. I think is a really, really exciting thing, and something that residents up there have absolutely been asking for as well. And finally, when it comes to highways too, bringing it back in-house means, similar to what Councillor Hunter was saying about adult services, we can look to being more efficient in the way that we use the money and the kind of materials that we use and things like that as well. So I think it's a real testament to our ambition and what we want to do for our residents as well. Thank you.
Johnson, anyone else? Do you want to come in? Councillor Johnson? Carl Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Labour government were never going to fix 14 years of Tory problems in local government overnight. But it was a welcome surprise when the settlement came this year to see a change to the focus on need rather than the previous way money had been allocated. As we go forward, there's more the Labour government can do, multi-year settlements, simplifying various programmes as we go on, and I'm sure that will happen. But ultimately, as we enter Mayor Redfern's 12th budget as the Mayor, we have had just shy of £500 million taken out of this borough in the last 14 years. And to still continue to deliver that is a very impressive legacy that Mayor Redfern will leave. A relentless focus on delivery has been required, working hand in hand with officers to deliver for our borough. And the legacy is quite impressive. When we came into power in 2013, the Tories had differed and delayed on every capital investment decision possible that we had to fix in our first weeks. The regeneration of Whitley Bay was non-existent. The Dome was in wreck and ruins, our seafront a mess. And we got on with the job and started to fix that. But what we also did was we continued to ensure that our most vulnerable residents were always protected. Those that need access to leisure centres, libraries and our parks kept open, improved, green flags and blue flags galore over the years. We've got on with what residents will tell us they want. We've built affordable homes at record levels in this borough, and we will continue to do so. We just started with the regeneration of North Shields, and we're starting on the Wall's End and the Northwest. When it comes to delivery, we have delivered for this borough, and that is why time and time again, the good people of this borough have returned Labour to power here, and I hope it will do so again in May. This budget sets the foundation for the next steps for Labour, building the household waste recycling centre, in the northwest, more investment in the roads and pavements than ever before, a record and an unprecedented level of council house building, which we'll go ahead with over the next few years. Building care homes, bring the bills down, building children's care homes to bring the bill down, bringing more staff back in house than ever before to give them proper terms and conditions that we can be proud of. We will go for prevention. We know there is a lot of work to be done after 14 years of Tory austerity. Our children are going to school in, we need to ensure they get to school with the standard they need to. We will bring more jobs to the borough to help us that. We'll a relentless focus on early years to improve the lives of people in this borough. So yes, it is difficult. Yes, there has been difficult decisions being made, and there will be more difficult decisions to be made in the future. But I'd much rather have the Labour Party making them decisions locally than I would anybody else. And I really hope that our residents can get behind this budget because, it is the best opportunity for the borough. There's been lots of promises made from other parties in North Tyneside. I would love to see the budget where they think they can deliver them because, frankly, some of the policies offered up by the opposition are just fantasy, complete and utter fantasy. I challenge them and I hope they will be challenged. They put a budget forward in a couple of weeks' time when we're sat in this council chamber once again. If you really believe in the promises you're making to the people of this borough, put your money where your mouth is and show us how you're going to pay for them. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Johnson, does anybody else want to say anything? Right, yeah, I think that's sort of pretty positive. Thank you very much indeed. I just want to say from my point of view, thank you to the officers, because a few months ago we didn't think we'd ever have a balanced budget. And I think that's credit to all our officers up there, our directors, and of course our cabinet members who've scrutinised everything and enabled us to come in with a balanced budget. That doesn't say we haven't got pressures, we have. But we have had pressures for the last 14 years, make no doubt about it. And when we had pressures, we weren't even getting money to sort of cover that. They'll take even more money from us, and we had more pressures to cope with. And despite that, I think if you look around the borough, we have made a difference. We've brought jobs into the borough, we've built houses. We've actually been inspected and had some really positive results. We've got rid of lots of eyesores and make them into areas that we're proud of. And that's just a few things. And that's because at the end of the day, we have some amazing officers. We didn't have any money to do a lot of that. But what we did have were officers who wrote great bids and were successful and brought that money in. And there's also the fact, as far as I'm concerned, is that what really pleases me, and I'm really proud to say this, that as a borough, this council has come together with businesses, with the community, with all those people who are helping across the borough to keep our people who are suffering and are in need together working with us. We couldn't have done it without this. So my thanks to you all is really important, but don't let's forget our partners and people like H Concern, people like Border, people like the businesses, and even our unions. During these very, very difficult times, we all came together with one goal, to do the best for the residents we serve. And have to say that's one thing I'll hold my hand up and say I'm extremely proud of. The ability that everybody who could in this borough came together with one goal to do the best for our people. So thank you very much indeed. And I hope you can agree with this report. Thank you so much. It's Monday the 3rd of February, so I don't know if you want to stay overnight, perhaps you could. But seriously, we've had a lot of meetings one after another, but we'll have to get to a point where we can actually all agree and start to deliver very shortly after the next election. So thank you all for your support, much appreciated. But I look forward to seeing you next Monday at 6 p.m. in room 309 upstairs, and somebody will come and collect you because there's another meeting going on in this. It's all happening. But at least at the end of the day, we're getting to where we want to be. So thank you all for coming tonight. Much appreciated. Safe journey home. Thank you.